Okay, we're recording.
Cool.
You mind if I use this?
I don't mind.
Okay, cool.
But
So
I will
right
have to
now,
say, if you're going to use it, you have to plug my YouTube channel, Ugly Weeds Texas, and then that's it. All right, well, let's go.
dude, I will absolutely. I'm trying to blow up my YouTube. I've got like 40 subscribers right now, so I'll definitely shout you out. And
Yeah, I have 320 right now, so
dang,
I'm pretty
that's
proud of it.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great. So yeah, right now, folks, if they're not calling you, they're hitting your website, they're filling out this form, and then they click send message, and then I would assume it says thank you. You know, somebody's going to call you back at some point.
right.
What really changes with LawnBot is we come in and we can use your form or ours, and pretend this is your website here. The client enters their info for a quote. Uh, what's an address in your market? Just maybe we can use your address to test on, or another one.
Let me see. Let's just use mine. 428
Okay.
Sherwood Court.
And that's Burleson,
Burleson.
Texas.
Yeah, I'm watching this on my phone, and I'm blind, so I can't. I
Okay.
can't really see what you're typing.
Okay. Um, cool. So we're using Google to geolocate the property. So as they're typing, it's populating the field automatically. So it makes it really super simple and easy for the client to enter their contact info.
Mm-hmm.
So you see here, they've entered their name, address, phone number, email. We can add fields if you like, but just with all of the companies we have on the platform so far, we've realized less friction is better because it's one less field they have to check.
Right.
Obviously, less opportunity for them to drop out. At that point, they click get my instant quote, and at this point, you get the lead info first and foremost. So if they don't complete the bot process, you still have all their contact info to hit them on the
Okay.
phone. But the lead, they land here, boom, right here on Ugly Weeds instant quote. Um, boom, there's a picture of their house. The client confirms their address. And then we hit them with a quick value add. And this value add is going to be, specialized to your business. Hey, we've been in business, in your case, 20 years, family owned and operated, whatever, your big hooks are that you use on the phone. We can program those in. And then we reach this next part. These are called service categories. So service categories, you can think about this as like we can have maybe you sell 3 different FERP programs, your good, better, and best, or
Yeah,
you
we do.
could or you could sell multiple lines of mosquito. Maybe you have a 5-app mosquito and a 12-app mosquito, or you do pest control. We can do as many service categories as you'd like, and I'll show you why this is important about the service categories here in a second. So at this point, let's select fertilizer, weed control. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and measure your lawn together. And it opens up Measure It. This is our newest feature that we've built into the product. And it literally allows the client to color in their lawn with their cursor or their
Okay.
finger if they're on a phone, which is we really built it for mobile. We realized there wasn't a good mobile measuring experience. There's all these points and lines, and it's got to be is easy enough that Grandma Karen can do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just got to be stupid simple. So this client, I mean, they just color in their service area where they want quoted, and obviously I can color in the house. Let's get this strip right here, and we tried to make it easy, right? So like the clients can understand how to do it and just make it stupid simple. So what we've realized also, a lot of folks like to ask, well, what about underneath trees? Well, if I lived here, I would know what areas to color and what areas not to color, and that's kind of consistent with the images that we've seen from people
Mm-hmm.
that sign up. Is they know where their planting beds are, and they know that there's a dog run on the side of the house, so I'm not going to color that in. We try to make it extremely clear, hey, we're only going to service the colored in areas. So as you can see, I colored in there. That image is saved, and you get it for your records along with all of their info throughout the chat. Looks like you colored in 6,300 square feet. Would you like to get your instant quote now or customize your program? So at this point, if they click get my quote now, it's going to give them the default program for that service category that we selected up here.
Okay.
And then if they click customize my quote, then it's going to pull the probing questions for that service category. So, we would ask them a set of questions, and depending on their answers to the question, we would recommend, in your case, hey, if they've been doing it themselves. So this question says, have you been doing the lawn yourself or hiring another company? I do it myself. Awesome. What's the happiness with the lawn? We'll say 7 out of 10 is my current happiness. What's the thickness of the lawn? If it's patchy, maybe we're going to sell them the best program because we know it needs like everything to get back on track.
Right.
What's the biggest issue in the lawn? Is it broadleaf weeds, stubborn weeds, grubs, crabgrass? So they can actually pick, hey, what's my biggest issue out there in the lawn? And what's nice is, I don't know if you can see it on your phone, but there's pictures there. So they're like, maybe they don't know the name. They don't know the name, but they might know what it looks like. I know what a dandelion looks like. So we call this the checkout. Basically, the client lands here with whatever program was recommended based on their selections during the probing questions part. So you can see here, we recommended the green thickweed free package. There's 4 applications remaining on the year. It's $57 an app. Down here we have upsells. So maybe we didn't ask about mosquito or seeding or liquid aeration or whatever else you sell, but the client can simply add it to their package. So they can just click and adds it to the program in the package. You can see here we have the ability to do discounts. So this bot is actually my brother's in Grand Rapids, and right now they're running a promo, half off the first mosquito spray. And you can see, well, maybe you can't because you're on a phone, but it says 50% off the first app, and then $65.50 for each remaining application. So we're able to do discounts and promos through the bot as well, which is nice. And like your $29.95 offer, we could have that applied here in the checkout. And I believe there's a square footage cutoff to it. Is that right?
Yeah, well, yeah, we so for
5K.
mosquito, we have a separate mosquito website at dfwmosquito.com. So I don't know how that we could implement both of those or have both of those, but that would be great to have them eventually on both, or somehow an upsell. I don't know how that would work, but we have 2 different sites.
How many mosquito customers do you have?
Oh, probably 200.
Okay. Well, what we could do is maybe we could cross sell between the two.
Yeah.
Have your lawn one sell mosquito, and then have the mosquito be able to sell lawn. And what's nice is the way we've built it on the back end is you can have multiple bots for every company. So in this case, we could have up to 10 bots, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to A/B test something and like, hey, am I going to get more sales if we test this out? We don't have to go in and change. We'll just create a new bot, but all of your price tables and stuff remain intact. And we can pull from, this is our back end builder. This is not really something that you'd have to worry about, but because we're pretty white glove, we do all of the updates for you. So when you want to do promotions or anything like that, you just email us and we implement it.
Okay.
Currently, we're potentially looking at a self-serve model, but we still got a lot of work to do in the builder, and especially with how new we are. Basically,
Right.
last fall this is our first full spring with it live. So, I'm sure we could figure something out for the mosquito and the lawn.
I'm sure we can make that work, because upselling the mosquito is hard. It's like right now our challenge is that we spend a person, for example, that calls in the office. The girls spend a lot of time selling our particular program, and I'm to the point where we need another person in the office in the spring. But and I've been preaching automation, and so I don't have to hire another person, and so I can free up some of their time to do other things like routing and answering all what all goes along with lawn care that doesn't involve
Right.
selling.
Right.
The downside would be that they're not going to get the sale. That would be the downside for them. But I don't know. Yeah, that sounds cool. But I do have a question. What if I already have a bunch of online measurements in my system, and because I hire someone, I have a virtual assistant that all they do for 8 hours a day is measure lawns. And they've been doing it for over a year. So we have, I mean, I'm not sure what the number is we have now, but it's probably close to 100,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we tried that with Top Turf. They're in like 5 states, including Texas. They're in Fort
Yeah,
Worth.
they're here locally.
And what happened was, and they've been around for 30 years, so they've got tons of data. And what happened was the information that the client enters wasn't matching up with what was in your database. So the data has to be fairly close.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, there was too many errors. Whether the client, there was one case where, in their case, there's different turf types between the front and the
Mm-hmm.
back.
Yep.
And there was issues around that. So what's nice about the measure image is it's real time, up to date, and the client, it's totally transparent. So if the client only wants the front and sides done, they're not getting a quote for the whole lawn. If they only want the front and sides done.
Okay.
And we've tried using existing databases, and it just didn't work out well. The client was unhappy. Like, we're trying to like make them happy. It just didn't work out good.
Okay.
So with using Measure It, that's kind of the best results that we've seen so far is, with the Measure It product. Let me see if I can pull up my Slack channel here. So we're CC'd on every sale right now, and these are all like real sales. So this is in New York. So it looks like this customer just wanted the backyard only done, and that image is saved. There's all the sale details. This is in Utah, and the
Mm-hmm.
client, colored in. Where's this? This is Detroit. Obviously, it's a new lawn. Like, it's still under construction, and they were still able to sign up, buy, and pay. We're actually working on an AI technology right now as well to do the coloring for them. But right now, we're using the actual humans to train the AI, and it's fascinating stuff. But this is out in Connecticut. This is another Detroit one. It's Alabama. So I would recommend we start with the Measure It thing,
Okay.
the Measure It tool, just because we haven't had success using other people's databases.
Okay.
That's
All
kind of how
right.
I think about it.
Yeah, that answers that. And I'm fine with that. But I had another question. A big part of, so in payment wise, we've moved to where we would only do credit cards if they paid by like a recurring payment, like a pay as you go. And then if people were very reluctant to enter their credit card, if they were pay as you go, we got to the point where we wouldn't do it. And then for anybody listening out there, if you stand up, if you just stand your ground, they'll call you back in 10 minutes and give you their credit card number.
Right.
But then we would let people pay by check if they prepaid, and we've almost gotten 100% away from that also, because we only deposit. It takes us like a month to fill up a check register, just because you don't get
Yeah.
that many checks, and it's a pain in the butt to drive to the bank. And so can the bot take the credit card information and set the customer up on installments?
So yes. Yes. Well, so right now, number one, we have the ability to program in installments. So if you wanted to do prepay and installments as their payment options, and then divide it by however many months, that we could do a couple options. One is the number of months remaining in the year, or if you just want to make it over 12 months, we can do that as
Yeah,
well.
it would be the amount of months remaining in the year, and it would be on a specific. We offer 2 dates, like and I'm not sure what they are. I think that the 1st and the 15th,
Mm.
whatever it is, it's 2. And then because we've noticed that installments is a huge seller, and I don't know why it took me so long to figure out, because Scott's, before they sold TruGreen, was crushing everybody because they would do everything on installments, and their price was, I don't know, 30-40% lower. That's what it looked like, because they were comparing it to the application price. And this year we went to just quoting people installment price, and our closure rate went way up.
That's
So if that helps,
awesome.
yeah, if that helps anybody. But yeah, for us, we want to quote the installment price, and I would love it if the bot would just take their credit card and set it up, because that's
Well,
a huge challenge for us, is when our telemarketers make a sale, then we have to audit the sale, then the office has to call back the customer and get their credit card and all. That's
right.
the challenge. So there's
Yeah.
a way for a bot to do that.
So we do have so for the payment, and it's probably good we brought this out for the payments. Right now we process with Stripe just because they're from a tech online standpoint, their dashboard is like one of the best. It just integrates so easily into
Okay.
LawnBot. And with that, we have the ability to set up subscriptions. So in theory, right, we haven't done this yet for the subscriptions because nobody else had asked to bill like that, but I know that we can build it into it. Is if we do installments here and say the installment is, $85 a month, they enter their credit card number. It charges them. We could either charge them the 85 to start this at the start of the subscription, or 30 days from authorizing the subscription, and then at whatever interval you decide, it would charge them that $85. So that's an option that I think we could do. It's just we haven't had any folks want to do that outside of their Real Green system. They usually want to keep everything all in one spot.
Yeah.
But if it's technically it's totally possible to do that. Set up installments. Hey, your installment payment is this. Enter your credit card number. Great. Sets up the subscription in Stripe. In this beautiful dashboard, you go into
Yeah.
it and you can look at all your subscriptions. So
Well,
that's an option.
I wouldn't want to change my credit card processor because it's through Real Green, and that's a simple way to do it. I have a different way to maybe do it, and tell me if it's possible. Could it just collect the credit card information, and then, like for example, it would maybe send you something to your call log to say, set this customer up, and then, but you already have the credit card information. You would just then set them up on installments or a prepay or pay as you go, however they selected. Like say you give them 3 options and they select one, but a manager would have to go in and then manually do that. I'm okay with that. That's not a problem, setting up somebody like that, because I think it would be more accurate than a subscription type service.
Right.
Because the subscription, you just tell them, hey, bill them $50 a month. Well, I don't really want to charge someone $50 a month if it's not based on their service. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So we would love to do that. There's just a lot of compliance issues around being PCI compliant around storing raw credit card data. So
Well, we have
today,
it. The Real Green is PCI, and the Real Green processing, I don't know what it's called or what it is, but it is PCI compliant, and we have the credit card info. It's stored somewhere. I don't know where it's stored.
I know. So to
But
answer your question, we're working on the Real Green payment processing. That's phase 2 of the integration, and eventually
okay.
it will be there. What other people are doing is what we could do is either there's a get started today price, and basically that's them paying for their first applications to get some security, and like that's the best audit in the world. Well, if they already paid for one, like they're not going to go shop you, or they can prepay and save if they do that option. Or we have the ability to get rid of this credit card area and just have buy now. If they click buy now, it counts as a sale, and then we can redirect them to another URL to pay. Obviously, that's not the ideal workflow, but the PCI compliant. You're right. Real Green is PCI compliant on their side. It's just for a smaller company like ours. For us to do it, we would have to also. There's like all these rules and regulations around storing credit card data
Yeah.
that we would have to do. So like today, it doesn't do that. I think with the Real Green payment processing, I think it's going to be done in the next four weeks or so, and
Okay.
we'll be able to just use your current processor.
Okay.
And it should store the card on file. You can go and set up subscriptions or however you want to do it inside of Real Green. So
Yeah, that's the part where the most attractive part for us would be, because for us the sale is collecting the credit card information from when it's not the like when it's a telemarketing sale or somebody that's not a manager sale. We don't have them collect the credit card. We pass it on, and it's like we consider it an audit the sale, and
yeah,
then so that part, man, you can hardly get them back on the phone again, and we lose some that way. And then so they wanted the bot to collect the subscription or the installment plan price, and then start billing them automatically
yeah, me
like
too.
that.
We're working on that. So we're trying to figure out. The problem is the back end, right? Like the back end delivery, everybody's back end is different. Like you run your installments different than Top Turf and
Right.
Turf Masters do. You guys just have different businesses, so that's the back end's hard. So what we're looking at too is maybe doing the payment processing for you, right? Like we'll direct deposit sale dollars directly into your account from, obviously they would enter their credit card number, we charge the card, and then ACH the money directly into your account. So we're looking at some different options to like just make it easier. But right now, it's either there's a buy now button and we make the sale, or we use Stripe to process the payment.
Okay.
So that's how it looks today. That's how other folks are using it. But certainly that is the goal, to make it totally frictionless.
Right.
That's definitely the goal.
Okay.
So that's it on payments. Then the other area that is the I need to think about it portion. So maybe they're not ready to sign up. Well, they can say I need to think about it, and we prompt them for their objection. Well, what exactly do you need to think about? The price, product, people. Like, what's your objection? Hits them with a rebuttal, and ask for the sale again. And then, or they could say, I still need to think about it. At that point, an email would go to your sales manager, whoever's fielding those inbound inquiries,
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, Kendall just got a quote. Here's the picture of his lawn colored in. Here's the square footage that was quoted. He's been doing it himself. The lawn's patchy. He has broadleaf weeds. So your rep would get that lead with all that info and the pricing that was quoted to them during the chat.
Okay.
They'll say, yes, let's do it. Oh yeah, sounds good. They use the newest technology. They sound like a great company. And at that point, they land back in the checkout, and then they can convert from here.
Okay.
That's kind of the process in a nutshell there.
Yeah. I think the only missing piece for me is the ability to just get the credit card and set them up on the installment plan. I think we could probably make it work if we just if we got an email from us, like if we were notified when somebody wanted to start their service, and then we could then call them to set up their payment.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what happens
Yeah.
right now for each chat. You either get a sale email or a lead email. with all of the information. So if it's a sale email, it will say, hey, they bought the 4-app program at 212. You get name, address, phone number, email, square footage quoted, the picture of what they colored in, and all of their answers, throughout the chat.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's all right. I would, as long as I, would be under the impression that it would one day move to where they could, be set up through installments, and we wouldn't have to call them to audit them
Yeah,
because their
that's
payment information would be there already.
yeah. I mean, with the 96 companies we have on the platform now, like that's the one thing, payments and Real Green, fully integrating in Real Green, are the two things, kind of on our production list to just make it easy as
Right.
possible. So that's definitely on our roadmap here.
Okay. Yeah, it looks cool to me.
Have you looked at our pricing at all? How much we charge and stuff?
It's like one of them's like $2.99 and one of them's $3.99, I believe.
Yeah, so you'd fall in that first one. It's we do the 1500 design and build, and that covers
Okay.
all of the price tables, the onboarding, going in and connecting it to your website for you, and then also making sure all of that is functioning and working correctly. We just don't want to give you a line of code and say, here you go. We actually want to make sure it's gonna work and convert sales for you. So that's what the 1500 covers. And then once we're live, it's just $249 a month. And it's unlimited chats, unlimited quotes. It's not going to be more expensive in the next spring when you surge. It's just we want one fixed price that is easy to budget and plan on.
Oh, so we fall on the 249?
Correct. Yeah, because you're not doing the CRM integration yet because you don't have SA4 hosted or SA5. So you'd be at the 249.
We have 4.
Is it in the cloud? Like, do you log in?
No,
How do you?
it's hosted at our
Okay.
office.
Yeah. So if it's local at your office, we can't integrate because the data has to be in the cloud for us to talk to it.
Okay.
So right now we can only integrate into SA4 hosted or SA5. So that's kind of where the integration sits today.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think so. So if you're on SA5, the price goes up. How does that work?
Yeah. So if you're on SA4 hosted or SA5, right now how you have to enter all this data from your website into Real Green. Every time somebody is a lead, I'm sure one of your CSRs is entering it. LawnBot, depending on what happens during the chat, it's all dispositioned inside of Real Green. So all their name, address, phone number, email, square footage size, picture of the house, that colored in image is saved to diagram docs.
Okay.
All of that is entered automatically, automated.
Okay.
With that, like the integration on our end that we had to do to build all of that out was pretty extensive. So that's why it's more expensive to get the integration, and that covers. I think it's more expensive to support the ongoing integration as well, because they're constantly updating things on their end as well, which in turn we have to go back and update everybody's bots to make sure the integration is still good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why it's more expensive.
Okay. Actually, forgive me. I'm not really sure what we have. We might be for, what'd you call it, supported?
Yeah,
I think Real Green does support our data. I think it might actually go to them, or it's saved every so, I don't know. Cheryl at the office deals with that part of the business.
like when you log in, do you log into VMware? Does that sound familiar?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. I wonder. I could email them and find out, but usually if you host your own data, like you have a server there, or at your offices, typically that means you're SA4 local. They have a product called SA4 hosted where it looks exactly the same as what you use now, except all of your data is stored in the cloud and not locally on your own server.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably the first one,
Yeah.
I think.
So what we've had, some guys are like you. They want to wait until, hey, there's a larger percentage of people on the platform and the kinks are worked out or whatever. And they just run it through emails. So their sales team or their CSRs get emails, whether it's a lead or a sale.
Okay.
So we can do it
Okay.
both ways.
Yeah, I'll just have to, talk to Cheryl. She got married Saturday, so she's off this week. So
Oh man, good for
that's
her.
why I'm the only one on. That's why I'm on the only one on this call, and that we're recording it, so I could then play it back for her when she gets off. So it's off
Yeah,
to her vacation.
of course.
But yeah, I'm on board. As far as on my end, I need to get with them to see when we can start implementing.
Absolutely. So here's
But
what I'll do.
I like how it measures, because we we have measuring assistant, and that's awesome. Like that's probably one of the best things in lawn care that's come along maybe ever. Or not just measuring assistant, the ability to measure a lawn without going out there is great. But the part where the customer can fill in their areas, because we get a lot of customers every year that buy a new house, and that's just the picture from wherever it comes from, there just isn't one. It might just be an empty lot from our view, and then that way they can fill it in on their own, and we don't have to go back and forth sending pictures to the
Right.
customer and them say, oh no, not that area. I mean, the girls will sometimes go back 4 and 5 times in emails and say, oh no, take out that area, add that area, and just giving the customer the option to fill that in that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably the biggest hurdle that we've overcome this year is in the southern markets. They just do things differently down there, and to account for that, like it turns out a lot like even the customers like it as well because it's fully transparent. Like there's no True Green sales rep that's undercutting the like they're not going to under measure by 10,000 square feet just to win the deal. Like what they
Yeah.
colored in is the square footage of what they colored in. So it's like,
Yeah.
I used to run a sales room and I'd be going through accounts of what they sold. And I'm like, dude, this is off by like 15,000 square feet, like
Yeah.
horribly off. And I'm
Hmm.
eating the brunt of that. I mean, margins in this business you got to run a tight ship anyway. And then it's like my sales reps, I'm paying upfront commissions. And then I find out on the back end when they get canceled because I'm like, dude, we got to raise your price because my rep undersold it. And then I started learning about how to audit, run an audit process and record phone calls and everything. So
Yeah, that we could have a hour-long conversation about how True Green undersizes.
yeah,
Yeah, but
but
we won't
yeah, I
bore
know.
everybody. Everybody already knows it. We don't have to talk about it.
Right. Yeah. It's just known at this point. But cool. So yeah, I mean, assuming your office managers feel comfortable. I mean,
Yeah,
what
I
kind of
want to do
time?
it.
What kind of timeline are you on with this? Like,
Well, I can't. I don't want to make any decisions without interacting with them. But
right.
and then of course there's that, and then we have the COVID thing, which is very frustrating, and and we're getting hit kind of hard right now. Tarrant County, where the area that we're in is. So we're not sure what's going to go on, but I don't think 249 is going to break anybody's wallet.
Right.
But probably I would want to have it up and going by probably September, October area.
Okay.
We start getting some fall sales for other stuff.
And when
Ground pack,
you
stuff like that.
and when it is, so assume we go live in September, how many apps now when you sell, like when your reps are on the phone and they're selling people in September, are they selling a full program for the next year? Is that how they're selling it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't, so they'll just get whatever remaining apps are. Let's say they start in September and there's 3 of our 8 apps left. I mean, we only do the 3 applications then, but their service auto renews to our basic program, which is 8 applications.
Yeah.
But I mean, we rarely sell the basic program. I'm not trying to say we're not better than anybody. Just we have a really strong offer for our gold program, and
Right.
I won't get into what that is, but it's 12 apps a year with 8 visits. We don't increase the amount of visits to the property, but it's 12 apps. 12 apps a year, and it's just our regular fert and weed control, grub and fire ant control, and then 2 liquid aerations. And so yeah, it would just depend on where they started in the year.